Hello, and welcome back to The Root, where we discuss anything and everything garden related. I'm digital reporter Laurel Stone, joined today by Chevy from the Mahoning County OSU extension, where we're continuing our conversation about gardening. Today, we're going to get a little bit more in depth about some of the things you can be doing right now, even with snow on the ground, to prepare your garden for next spring. We'll also talk a little bit about the things you can do inside during the winter if you still have that little bit of itch to get out in the garden.
It needs a lot of planning. I just don't wake up today and say, oh, I'm going to plant this. You really need to plan ahead. And planning ahead saves you time and effort.
Are people already planning their gardens for next year at this point?
Yes, people are preparing. I had a talk with the Master Garden volunteers, and they were like, oh, I always try to plant something interesting. One of them was telling us she planted cotton this year in her garden. And we're like, oh, wow, that's interesting. So it's always nice to know ahead of time so you can get seeds ahead of time. I was in Walmart the other day looking for microgreen seeds because we have a class coming up. It was bare.
Really? Now, is it because it's out of season or because people are really bulking up already?
Once the season is over, that's it. So with anything you buy, with your bulbs, make sure you buy them well ahead of time so that you have a great selection. But also with seeds, anything you buy, plan ahead. This is what I'm going to plant. And then get those seeds if they're available and just keep them ready.
Is there a certain amount of time where they'll start to go bad? How long until they lose their fertility, essentially?
Normally it takes a couple of years, so I wouldn't be too worried about that.
One thing I do have in a pot is a plant of sage. And I brought that inside last year, and it seems like it really liked being inside over the winter. But because I didn't give it that break, I don't think it produced as much this summer. So is there a benefit to leaving plants outside to let them get that break? Will it make them more productive in the next year?
It depends on if you brought it inside. If you bring houseplants, every time you bring houseplants inside and they do well outside, the day you take them out of the house, it's not an immediate thing like, oh, there's the sunshine, and then you're just going to place that pot there. They will die. They need time to kind of get used to being outside. It's called an acclimation period. So you start by first putting them in the shade and then moving them maybe a day or two, then putting them back in the house and then putting them in. Otherwise, they will get shocked by the sun and they will die.
So give them a break. No harsh changes is what I'm getting from this.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing of what you do in the spring, that if you start seeds inside, you let them sit on like your porch for a day. Like I have a sun porch.
Exactly, because if you take them and then just put them in, they can die from transplant shock. They need time, just like we need time to get used to a new situation. Plants also need that time.
Now, you talked about people buying seeds already. Is it way too early to think about getting anything started inside?
Well, there's what we call winter sowing. So winter sowing is actually, people will take your milk jug, which you got like half a gallon or a gallon, and they will actually sow their seeds inside, and then they will leave them out in the snow.
I've never heard of that.
It is so interesting. And then with that, because they're outside, if we have frost, you can cover it up with a blanket, but they will grow inside. And then by the time the soil has warmed up enough, you can actually transplant that. Because they've been outside, they won't suffer as much from that transplant shock. And then you put them inside. It's amazing. So with that, you can start them December or January. You can start your seeds from outside and just put them there.
That's really cool. I've never heard of that before. It makes sense. Normally, you start them inside, you get the little trays and the seeds, but that's because I know some people, once the winter starts dragging on, you miss the sunshine, you miss being outside. So what else can people do during those long winter months who are starting to get the itch to put their fingers in the dirt a little bit?
There are actually a couple of options. So I'm going to start with microgreens because we have a microgreens class coming up. You can go microgreens. They're young. They're little small plants that you can harvest. They take 7 to 10 days to be ready. So they're very easy. You don't need much. Very easy to grow if you want that fresh access to fresh veggies. Hydroponics is also something, if you're really willing to spend the money, you can get a kit. And then you can even grow one of the educators, I heard him say he grew a full tomato under that thing. Yeah.
That's impressive.
But
We
even
have some options.
but even your herbs, you can always grow your herbs indoors.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time here on WKBN Plus.
Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Watson. Thanks for watching the WKBN 27 First News YouTube channel. If you want more video news, subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the WKBN 27 First News app for breaking news alerts.